Welcome to this brief training on polling place vote tripling. My name's Janet Grant, and I'll be leading you through this brief training to really arm you to be ready to go out there and be a vote tripler. The DeKalb Dems are really excited about this program because we really believe it will make a significant difference here in getting out the vote for this important November election. So today in the training, we're going to cover just a few basic things. First, we're going to talk a little bit about what vote tripling is. We are going to walk through exactly how to vote triple, what your script is, and a few other details as you get out and do this activity, and how we are going to track and report data back related to the success. So first of all, what is vote tripling and why is it so awesome? So vote tripling was developed by an organization in California, a nonprofit organization called votetripling.org. And they have really identified this as a best practice for getting out the vote. So really what it is that you station yourself outside of a polling location and you just ask voters who are exiting after having voted if they could remind 3 of their friends to vote. And if they do that, they get a sticker. So this is an activity that is really low risk during this kind of COVID environment that we all find ourselves in. So we want you and the voters to be safe. So we want you to be obviously wearing PPE, masks and or face shields. To stay about 6 feet apart from voters, so socially distanced from voters. You're outside in the open air. Hopefully we will have good weather through the rest of this election season as well. And we don't want you to engage any voters that are not wearing a mask. So if they're not wearing a mask, don't ask. Use hand sanitizer often and don't exchange anything back and forth with the voter. So how do we know that this works? As I said, votetripling.org has done research on this, and they have been able to show that vote tripling can generate a much higher number of contacts than door knocking or phone banking, so you can reach a lot more folks. And the best thing is that we're leveraging that voter being able to reach out to folks that are their friends and families. And when they have a relationship like that, they are the most effective at messaging getting out the vote. So in terms of just the statistics here, if in an hour there's 25 voters exiting, you can expect at least 12 to 15 voters to say yes to reminding their friends. That translates to about 40 relational contacts with close friends. And that's more than 100 voters reminded in a 3-hour shift that you put in vote tripling. So you can really make a difference. And it's fun, really seriously. Voters are really jazzed when they have left after having voted, and it's a perfect time to approach them to ask them to have their friends also be reminded to vote. So let's talk about the conversation. The first thing is your mission, should you choose to accept it, and obviously since you're watching this video, we hope you do, is to really get voters to send reminder texts right there in front of you. So a few simple tips. First of all, approach everybody. You want to give everyone a chance to participate. You want to really nail the greeting. Be friendly, approach them, don't really give them an out, and make a hard ask. As well as we really want folks to send the text right there on the spot, and we're going to use an incentive to get them to do that. So don't say things like, would you be interested, or could you possibly? You really want to ask that hard ask. So the first thing is nailing the greeting. And again, voters are coming out, they're feeling good about having voted. So the first thing to do is just to say hello. Thank you so much for being a voter. Smile, even if it's behind your mask, they can see you smile through your eyes. Be friendly, energetic, speak loudly. Engage voters before they approach you. And you can just walk with them as they're walking out, obviously safely, 6 feet apart. But try not to give them an out. So in the introduction then, after you have thanked them for voting, introduce yourself and just say, I'm trying to get more people to vote. And here's the ask. Make that ask. Can you text 3 people right now and remind them to vote? You really want that to be clear and asked. So here's the entire full script. Hello, thanks so much for being a voter. I'm just trying to get more people to vote. Can you text 3 people right now and remind them to vote? You can certainly apply some social pressure. Let them know how many people have been doing vote tripling for you, and that you're asking them to do that. So here's the incentive. That sticker. Think about how much people value their I voted sticker when they go to vote. And here's another sticker to add to their collection. So if they complete the text right there in front of you, they get a sticker. Certainly, you're going to have some folks that say no or have some hesitations, and just try to work with that. Try to turn that around. So things like all my friends vote. You can certainly say that most people overestimate how many of their friends actually vote. Maybe give an anecdote about someone that you know that forgot to vote, and why it's important to reach out and remind folks. I don't have time. Just walk with them as they're walking and try to engage them. I'll do it later. Most often, if they say that they'll do that, many people will not follow through on that. So we really want to have people send the text right then, and they're only going to get the sticker if they do that. I can't think of who to remind. Kind of work through with them, maybe a family member, neighbor, coworkers. So your mission is that we really want to convince at least 75% of the voters that you pitch to stop and send the text right in front of you. And the research that votetripling.org has done says that that is not an unrealistic goal. So a few details. First of all, here in Georgia, it is not legal to do any kind of electioneering within 150 feet from the entrance of a polling location or 25 feet from voters that are in line. So this applies to candidates, campaigns, et cetera, that can't actively campaign within those parameters. So remember, though, that this is not an electioneering activity. You're just simply asking people to vote. So if someone questions you about that, be firm about your right to be able to be there. And again, stay 6 feet away from voters. Keep your masks on, socially distance, and remember, do not ask voters that don't have a mask on to engage with you. The best place to station yourself is right outside of the exit. That's going to vary in each location. And we're doing this in both early voting locations as well as targeted election day polling places where we think that we can make the most difference. So find where that exit is. Sometimes it's the same place as the entrance. Sometimes it's a different door. Missing voters is the biggest source of lost contact. So strategically position yourself in order to be able to catch the voters. So very easy documentation that we're asking you to do. You're going to have a little tick sheet, and literally in real time, just keep track of ticks for the number of yeses, those number of voters that you've been able to get to say, yes, they'll do this, and then the number that actually do it in your presence. And then after your shift, if you can log in and complete our little Google form, that's all that we're asking you to do. And that Google form is on the DeKalbDems.com site /vote tripling. So a few key takeaways. Really, this is a way to engage voters to be a part of Get Out the Vote, even if they haven't volunteered in other capacities through this election season. A way for them to feel good about helping get folks voting. And vote tripling is the most effective way to turn out voters during early voting and on election day. So we really asking you to pitch to everyone, nail that greeting, use the hard ask, and ensure that texts are sent there right on the spot. Use your stickers as the incentives, and just keep track of the voters that you've been able to engage and let us know. So we want you to be safe. We want the voters to be safe. Approach this with a great attitude. This really is fun, and it's a fun way to engage voters and to really make a difference in getting out the vote. So if you have any questions that we haven't completed in this or answered in this brief video, Claire Schneckseider is um, our specialist managing this project, and she is available to answer any questions that you might have. So thank you for completing this training, and get out there and be a vote tripler.